Welcome, friends. This is another in our occasional conversations with people around the world who have come to the work of Quadratus and just a chance to hear a bit of where they have come from and what they may be finding in this new work. And today we have Roger Hudson from, Roger, tell us where you're from.
Well, I am in Spokane, Washington, in the United States, but I am originally from South Africa. I'm a fifth generation South African, my ancestors having gone down there in the year 1820.
Wow. I love the accent. And having gone from England at that point, where,
Right?
all right. I must say that I don't know the history of South Africa well enough, but it's delightful. And so you grew up in South Africa.
Correct. Yeah.
And did you have a spiritual tradition that you were part of?
Yeah. I'm actually the son of a Methodist minister. My father is Dr. Norman Stewart Hudson, and he actually went over to Perkins School of Theology in Dallas, Texas, to do his D-Min, and then went back to South Africa. So he served in the United Methodist Church of the USA, but actually was a bishop in the Methodist Church of South Africa, into which he was ordained. So I
Uh,
was raised as a preacher's kid in the Methodist tradition.
and then when you became an adult, did you go into the ministry?
Yep, felt the call into the ministry, so to speak, and went to Perkins School of Theology. Got my Master of Divinity, and then served under Episcopal appointment
Wow.
in the North Texas Conference around Dallas, before really feeling called to go back to South Africa to be not only a minister of the gospel but also involved in bringing justice to the
Mm,
South African context.
mm, mm. And then how did you find your way back to the States?
Well, when I was working on my master's degree and serving for those few years, in fact, when my father was still there, Dad was serving Grace United Methodist Church in East Dallas, and there was this family called the McCleskys, who were there every Sunday, and they had this pretty young daughter. So I got to know Carla, who later became my wife. She rugby tackled me on the kitchen floor one time, and suddenly I started noticing her. And one thing led to another. And yeah, we've been married for many years, have two sons, and we have served in the North Texas Conference, but also for quite a few years in South Africa before then coming back to the USA so that we could spend some time with Carla's parents.
Mm, mm, beautiful. So, how did you come to discover Quadratus? Where did that work come into your hands?
Well, it's been a long journey, but I remember all of my life being concerned and passionate about creation. Dad would take us to the Kruger National Park, and so I grew up seeing the elephants and the rhinoceroses and the lions and just the wonders of African wildlife. But I had this passion for creation, and I took that into my training and my ministry as a United Methodist minister, but always try to integrate creation care into congregational life, and just went nowhere. You know, it was almost like
Mm,
creation care was an afterthought to the essential focus, which is conversion of people, etc., etc. So I felt frustrated, and but had this hungering, and finally, at my last appointment, I said to my wife Carla, I said, Carla, you know, I just can't do this anymore. Richard Rohr famously said, "The best critique of the bad is the practice of the better." If the institution can't do the integration, let me take early retirement and just see, in response to the creative spirit, where this might lead me. And so you see the garden behind my head there, and Rublev's composting altar beyond the garden there, Anton Rublev's icon of the Holy Trinity, which I've made into a composting situation. But just slowly, have done, as Richard Rohr says, critique the institution that hasn't integrated creation care into the worshiping life of a congregation in an essential way. And I've just started doing it and living it, and thoroughly enjoyed the this period of 3 to 4 years of creativity.
Mm.
So, having said that, to answer your question, I think my first exposure was with Rob Bell. He interviewed you, and there were
Oh,
a few
yes.
things yeah, there were a few things you said there that I said, whoa, there's something here. And so I've taken the 2 year Heart and Mind course, and thoroughly enjoyed that. But as I read more about Quadratus, I suddenly appreciated these deeper rhythms. One of the 8 practices that you mentioned, absorb the deeper rhythms, also engage beauty in all, and find a quiet center. So I go into my garden every morning and I walk through the Quadratus framework.
Mm. Mm.
Fading light to late evening, that is the end of the day, but it's also fall, and so you have the daily rhythm of creation, but you also have the seasonal rhythm of creation. And so I ask the question as I walk that, how am I going to face change, the change of fall, the change of approaching evening, and then I move into late evening to first light, and
Mm.
how am I enduring suffering, climbing, or rather, crossing that stormy sea. And so I go all the way around and I just feel myself connected. My spirituality is connected and in sync with the rhythm that you find in creation itself. And so I have found in Quadratus an integration which I have not found in Wesleyan theology. And it really, frankly, has electrified me. Um, so much so that I'm in the process of writing just a simple little article. And the opening line says, "It is as if I stepped through my wardrobe and discovered the church I've been searching for all my life in my own backyard."
Wow. Wow.
So,
Wow.
you're looking behind my head, Teilhard de Chardin asks the question. He says, I can't help wondering how in these days we should envisage a cathedral. Well,
Mm.
there's the cathedral behind my head. It has a cross, it has an altar, and the cross is not just a symbol of some spiritual truth, nor is the altar, but both of them are functionally associated with practical connections to the earth related to growing of food and
Mm.
harvesting the abundance that the Creator is waiting to share with all humanity and all creation.
Incredibly powerful and beautiful and true. And thank you so much for taking this work not just to heart, but to hands and to the earth. Um,
Well, I remember your sorry, Alexander.
no, please.
I remember your statement of, with your sand tray, praying with your hands in the earth, and that was kind of a moment for me because I said, oh, wonderful, so my gardening is literally my hands in the earth as I do the gardening and connect with the deeper wisdom that we find in creation.
Absolutely. I mean, creation is the first scripture. And how I wish more Christians understood, actually, how I wish more people around the world understood that creation is a holy scripture in and of itself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you for all that you're doing, all that you're bringing, all that you're sharing.
Yeah, well, you don't know how much life the Quadratus framework has given me. It's just given me, I think, not only a framework, but it's given me a vocabulary,
Hmm.
which helps me understand, but also communicate what I'm discovering.
Thanks, Roger. I so appreciate your taking these few minutes to be with me and with all of us.
Yeah,
Keep
thanks,
going,
Alexander.
brother.
Will do. And thanks for all you do. Keep on keeping on.
Will do.